What's up, everyone? Justin here with a new Let's Talk About It movie I just watched. I've had it for I want to say about 7, 8 years. I've had it. I have not watched the whole thing until now. I have a ton of movies I've yet to watch that I own, but I'll get to them someday. But anyways, this is maybe the fucking oddest movie ever made, the weirdest, the most strange. I can't even comprehend that I just watched it. It's I can't even comprehend they made it, that a fucking movie studio, MGM, before it started, I think it said MGM. This hat is very old. It's faded, but so what? It's comfortable. Jesus, yeah. Good God, this movie, good God, was disturbing. Not in a good way, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, what I'm trying to say is it was just strange. It was so strange that a fucking studio decided to make it. A director wrote the movie and directed it. It should have not been made into a movie, in my opinion. The story was not good enough to be a movie, but it was the fucking 80s. And a lot of 80s movies, a lot of them were fucking nuts and pointless and stupid and should have never been made. I mean, this director, this guy that directed it and wrote it, he must have been on cocaine. A lot of cocaine. More than Scarface took. I don't know what to say, but cocaine's a hell of a drug, and this director had to be on cocaine to make this fucking movie. The studio had to be on drugs to make it. But they made it. It was actually real. What am I talking about? Let's talk about the Garbage Pail Kids, the movie. It was actually made from little training cards that were stickers. It was a training card, but you could pull it off and it was a sticker. Like, seriously, stickers used to be a big thing. I think in the 80s and 90s, a lot of stickers were around. People would collect them. I got a fucking whole collection, a book of stickers I collected as a kid and a teenager. Some are pro wrestling stickers. Some are just nonsense that I got. Like stickers of rock, alternative rock radio stations. And I do have a few Garbage Pail Kids stickers that were cards. Now, first off, I'm not going to talk about the long history or short history of Garbage Pail Kids, but they came out because they were a parody, making fun of, and it was a parody. It was supposed to be just a parody of Cabbage Patch Kids, of course. Cabbage Patch Kids were dolls. They're big, huge, popular in the 80s with kids. I think Cabbage Patch dolls were just, I believe, for little girls wanted them because they were called dolls, but they were called Cabbage Patch Kids. They're not actually dolls. They're just called Cabbage Patch Kids, or some would call them dolls. I never had any, but I was into collecting dolls as a kid. I was a boy. I was into action figures, G.I. Joes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and wrestling action figures. Again, I grew up in the 80s, so I knew a hell of a lot. I was very young when Garbage Pail Kids came out. I was only 3 years old, maybe 4. I was either 3 or 4. So I didn't know the movie existed until like the late 2000s or into the 2000s. I heard about it. I wasn't able to watch it and find it and buy it on DVD until, like, as I said, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Maybe I don't know, maybe 2013 I got it, or 12. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But my point is, Cabbage Patch dolls were big, very popular in the 80s. They sold a ton, just like wrestling action figures did, I'm sure, in the 80s. So here's one of my original, actually, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Yeah, this, when did I get this? I don't know, I was probably 3 years old, or 2 when I got this, or 4, I'm not sure. But this came out in 86, I believe. This Ricky the Dragon Steamboat came out in 1986, and yeah, I am set up here, so he has some dust on him, but let's put him back. You want to know what else is big in the 80s? God, I grew up in the 80s, so I got a lot of stuff still collected from my childhood. This guy came out in the 80s. I don't know what year, but his TV show came out. Maybe late 80s. Look at this. There's a little Elf. Elf. There's Elf. The TV show Elf. They never made a movie about... Maybe they did make an Elf TV movie. I don't know. I don't know the history of Elf and if they ever made a movie about Elf. But Elf was big. He had a TV show, Elf. He was an alien that came down from outer space and lived with a fucking family. That's how weird the 80s were. They made a TV show about this guy, Elf. This puppet, I guess. Or, I guess you could, yeah, stick your hand up his back. And you move his head and arms. So, yeah, I was a fan of Elf as a kid. I thought he's funny. But I don't know if they made a movie about Elf. But what I do know is they fucking made a movie about the Garbage Pail Kids. They actually did. So Garbage Pail Kids was a parody. Supposed to be a parody. Somebody on drugs or crack or something. Or somebody on fucking weed. Or someone that was smoking high as fuck. I guess came up with the Garbage Pail Kids idea, concept. And they actually sold. They probably sold a ton. Made a lot of fucking money, whoever created them. I don't know. I just rented a documentary about the Garbage Pail Kids history. So I'm going to watch that later after this video or later this morning. I'm going to check out that Garbage Pail Kids documentary. Came out in 2017. The only way to watch it, I had to rent it. I paid $4, so let's see it. I didn't watch it yet, so I don't know the total history. But Garbage Pail Kids started because it was a parody, supposed to be a parody of Cabbage Patch Kids. That's why they're named Garbage Pail Kids. They ripped off the name and used kids. So before I start with some of my notes, crazy movie. This movie is fucking bonkers. I can't believe it got made. Again, the fucking director and movie studio, you had to be on crack or cocaine or drugs or you were high as fuck when you decided to make this. Let's see this sticker. We got a sticker book here. And I don't know if I got any Garbage Pail Kids in here. I think I have at least one. As I said, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. If you didn't know that, here's some sticker cards of wrestling. Stone Cold, British Bulldog, and there's a training card of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Down there's another training card. Al Snow. And look at this. This was also big in the 80s. A big cartoon. Smurfs was very big. That's some Smurf cards. Smurfs were very big in the 80s. Just like Garbage Pail Kids cards. And this video decided to start playing. So what was I saying? Yeah, Smurfs were big in the 80s, guys. Just like the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Let me try something on my phone with Google Voice. Give me a review of the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Well, Google Voice didn't want to speak back to me, but they got some AI overview about the movie. So let's find the Garbage Pail Kids in this sticker book. I don't see any yet. Some almost X-rated card. Let me cover it. Almost a topless woman. For some reason, I don't know where I got that card. I have no clue. I don't know where I got that. Maybe out of a Playboy magazine a long time ago. There's a Superman giving a FU finger for some. I don't know where I got that either. The South Park sticker. South Park. I was not a fan of the show, but again, I collected stickers. So I don't want to share. I'm not going to show the whole book of stickers, but here's a birthday card from my childhood, and Road Warrior Hawk card, Buffalo Bills sticker. There's a ton of NFL stickers. Yeah, a ton of NFL here. So let's find the Garbage Pail Kids. I don't know where it is. I don't see it. I don't see any. Thought I had one or two. I might have some left, but they're not in this book. Here are some ugly characters that look like they could be Garbage Pail Kids, but they're not. So yeah, I thought I had a Garbage Pail Kid in here. I guess I don't. There's some Britney Spears stickers. I was a big fan of her when she came out. Now she seems a bit nuts, like she needs meds, I think. So yeah, I don't see any Garbage Pail Kids. I apologize, guys. I thought I had one. Or two. Here's a Sesame Street Grover sticker. There's a WWF sticker. And a rock station, as I said. I grew up listening to that station. It's called New Rock 1021. There's an Airwalk sticker. The shoes, Airwalk. They used to be a tennis shoe. So here we go. Here's the AI overview of the Garbage Pail Kids movie. This review might be long because I got a lot to say about it. But before I give my notes and thoughts, I already gave my thoughts. The director and the studio were fucking on drugs to make this movie, in my opinion. Yeah, they had to be on drugs. The Garbage Pail Kids movie, 1987. This is an AI review. Widely considered a terrible film, awfully cited as one of the worst ever made. It was bad, I agree with that. Worst ever made, I don't think so, but it was bad. It was a bad idea. It should have never been made. It was pointless. It didn't need to be made into a fucking movie. But again, it was the 80s, and cocaine's a hell of a drug. Oh man, the director had to be on drugs. I never took a drug in my life. I've never been high, so I don't know what would go through my thoughts if I was high. Maybe I'd think a Garbage Pail Kids movie is a good idea also if I was on drugs. But again, I never took a drug. I'm straight edge. While some enjoyed it, it says, for its campy and 80s nostalgia, the film generally lacks in quality from the acting and effects to the script and overall execution. I agree, it was a bad movie. It was fucking bad. I will say I fast forwarded through a few parts that nothing was happening. So I skipped over maybe 5 to 8 minutes of the movie. I might have skipped over and fast forwarded. But the parts I watched, I will say I was not bored by them. I didn't get bored, but I didn't want to sit through the whole fucking movie without fast forwarding it. But that's AI overview. And then it goes on to say, got a poor reception. The movie was panned by critics. Of course it would be. Critics, a lot of them are idiots. They also love to bash and pan slashers and horror movies. Movie is panned by critics and consistently ranked low on sites like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. Some woman of the New York Times called it too repulsive. And a lot of parts were just gross and disturbing and weird. But what do you expect? Did you not, if you weren't a fan of the Garbage Pail Kids cards, if you didn't know what they were, and you weren't a fan of them, of course you wouldn't like the movie and you'd be grossed out and you would hate it. But I was a fan of the cards. My brother mostly collected a ton of them. He collected like all of them. He had like a huge collection of them. But yeah, I was too young. I didn't collect them. I was too young, but I saw them all the time around the house when I was very young. And we still have a few of them. Maybe my brother would know more. He probably has a big collection still. Maybe he saved them. He saved them all. I don't know. I haven't asked him about them. I know he saved all his comic book collection. But I don't know if he saved the Garbage Pail Kids. So let's go to some other notes about the movie. Garbage Pail Kids movie. There's a trailer if you want to watch it. It's on YouTube. Just look up Garbage Pail Kids trailer. The trailer's there. Here's part of it. Again, the trailer makes it look like it's a normal movie. Like it's a fun adventure. Like it could be like E.T. or the Goonies. But trust me, it's not as good. It's not. The director for Garbage Pail Kids' name was Rod. I never heard of the fucking guy. I don't know what else he directed. Maybe nothing else good. I don't know. Let's look into him. So the guy, he actually passed away. The director of Garbage Pail Kids, Rod, he passed away in 2003 from something. He was 79 years old. I don't know what else he directed, but maybe I could look him up his career. Let's look him up real quick. So let's see here. Last movie directed was after Garbage Pail Kids in 1988, Sunset, but I never heard of it. The rest of his movies I never heard of. The Bushwhackers in 1952, he directed The Bushwhackers, whatever the hell that was about, I don't know. He directed or worked in a lot of TV, but to me he's not well known as a director, and he wasn't very good at it, in my opinion. The movie is a mess. It was all over the place. It was a mess. And it was a stupid script, very stupid story. You introduce the Garbage Pail Kids, and this movie should have been fucking PG-13 or rated R. It would have made it better. It definitely would have made it a little bit better. But it was fucking rated PG. The rating was PG somehow. I don't know how. It got to be a fucking PG movie. But yeah, it's disturbing. The costumes, the Garbage Pail Kids, the characters and the costumes, the little people. The costumes were disturbing as hell, ugly as hell, gross, vile. Some of the ugliest people I've ever seen. And kids, they were supposed to be kids, but good God, they're ugly as fuck. That alone, the costume should have made it PG-13 at least. But somehow it's PG. If it was rated R, they could have done a lot more. They could have the kids act like really disgusting and bad and vile. That would have actually been good and funnier. But yeah, I think the director of the studio thought let's make it PG so we can make more money, and kids will come to the movie and love it and laugh, and God, I guess that's what they thought. Let's make it PG so we can make more money from kids coming with their parents. Well, if their parents brought them, especially mothers, they probably would have walked out with their kid and took them out of there, I bet. It was not offensive, but I guess again, if you're not a fan of the Garbage Pail Kids and you watch this, I guess you could be offended. I was talking to my female cousin about this movie, The Garbage Pail Kids, and she couldn't believe it that it was made. She couldn't believe they made a movie about it. And her first reaction was, "That's disgusting. Why would they do Why would they do that? Why would they make that?" She thought it was disgusting. She said, oh, and her reaction just made me laugh. She kept telling me, "How could they make that? That is a bad influence on kids." And I just kept laughing because I thought it was fun, hilarious. Her reaction was hilarious to me. She just kept saying, "How could they make it? And it'd be a bad influence, and to kids, that's terrible they made it, and that's disgusting they made that." It was hilarious. And I was telling her, I was like, I didn't get the point of it. Like, how do you make the Garbage Pail Kids a movie? I didn't get it. I was like, I don't get the story. It was stupid. I told her, I was like, the first part of what I watched was very just pointless and dumb. and just fucking weird. It just should have not been made into a movie. Wasn't good enough story or script. If it would have been rated R, it could have been good enough. They could have pushed the limit if it was rated R and done a lot of funny, offensive shit that the kids could have done. But yeah, my cousin's reaction was so funny. First, her reaction was, that's disgusting. How dare they make it? And it should have. She even said it should have been banned. She thought it should have been banned from being made. That really cracked me up. It should have been banned. I don't think that. But it was not good enough to be made into a movie. Here's a movie poster. It's pretty damn funny. It looks like a training card of Garbage Pail Kids. There it is. Again, I don't know. And again, the director or the movie studio thought this movie is going to become a hit, probably like E.T. or The Goonies or Gremlins, or that it would become like God, what's the name of that horror movie? Critters. Or they thought it'd be like Critters. I think they made a couple sequels to Critters. But Critters was a horror movie. This Garbage Pail Kids was fucking PG. That's mind-blowing. They made it PG. But again, the director and the studio, I bet, thought this could be a hit with kids. They could think the characters are so funny. Instead, they were not funny. They were gross. They were vile characters, and that's what they should have been. They looked vile because they were Garbage Pail Kids. But seriously, the director and how the movie treated them was like, you're going to fall in love with the Garbage Pail Kids. No, I did not. I did not. I did not at all. So, the characters, here's some stats about the movie and facts. The budget was $1 million. Probably the damn costumes the little people had to wear. That was probably a lot of the budget. Because they had like no special effects at all. I didn't see any special effects. And it looked low budget. It looked pretty cheap how they made it. Just very dark, lit, not well, dark, grainy looking, and cheap. But at a $1 million budget, the box office made $1.6 million. I find that hard to believe. I don't really believe that it made any profit. How could it? But I guess it did. Production companies were two companies for it. Topps Chewing Gum. The fucking company Topps Chewing Gum. Yes, they made the Garbage Pail Kids cards, I think. So they were involved in the movie. Came out in August 21st, 1987. So I was 4 years old by about a month. I was 4. But again, I wasn't aware of the movie. So the characters in Garbage Pail Kids had gross habits, Abanorians. Basically, a lot of them were like disfigured. And just, they looked like mutants, basically. They all looked like fucking mutants. Seriously. They looked like mutants. Not like the X-Men mutants. They looked like horrible, ugly, gross, vile mutants. They didn't look human. And they were supposed to be kids. And the costumes in the movie, again, little people played the characters. The actors were played by little people, dwarfs, in animatronics costumes. And they tried to befriend a regular boy in the movie. The film was lambasted by critics and is considered, as I said, one of the worst films ever made. So, and then it had a song at the end. End credits had a pretty funny song that was, I guess it became a hit. Or George Michael wrote it? It says George Michael's controversial hit. I want your sex. One for worst song. George Michael did not write the Garbage Pail Kids song. He did not. But I just saw his name pop up. Worst original song. You Can Be a Garbage Pail Kid song was nominated for worst original song, but it lost to George Michael's I Want Your Sex from Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills Cop 2. The cast in the movie was not very good at all. Not at all. The best cast member was the boy, the main character boy. He was like 12 or 13 years old. Dodger. Dodger was the main character. The boy, he was played by Mackenzie Astin. Astin, I think. Sean Astin, the famous actor, Sean Astin from Encino Man, Rudy, Stranger Things. Sean Astin is his brother, actually. I didn't know that until I looked it up. And Tangerine is the other main character. This woman, Tangerine, that's her name in the movie, is played by Katie Barbary. Or Barbarelli or something like that. And the other main character is like a bully gang leader, I guess. His name is Juice. Maybe he was taken after O.J. Simpson and being abusive and like a bully, like O.J. the Juice Simpson. His character's name was the Juice, or Juice. And Juice was dating, good God, horrible names. That's so 80s. Those are 80s movie names. Good God. Those are really 80s movie names. Tangerine and Juice. And they were dating in the movie. Tangerine and Juice. Shocked they didn't have somebody in the movie named Orange Juice. Or Grape. Good God. The other actors, who cares? I'm not even going to name them. So I'm trying to see. It was, of course his movie is supposed to be a comedy, but a lot of parts, it was not funny to me. A lot of parts were not funny. So on April 87, it was announced Atlantic Entertainment Group had acquired the license for Garbage Pail Kids from Topps. And it was adapted as a feature film. The trading card series had been a great success, selling more than 1 billion. I didn't know this. Good God. Selling more than 1 billion cards and launching themed merchandise. Shooting in April. Yeah, and kids, man. Your parents in the 80s probably didn't want you to buy Garbage Pail Kids. Your dad, your brother, your friends probably thought, yeah, you can buy them. Those look cool. Buy them. But your mom and your sister and, your aunt, your grandma probably wouldn't let you buy them. So you had to get them somehow, some way. You had to get them, trade them, get them from friends or something. But yeah, they sold a lot of fucking cards. So again, the reception was not good at all. Here's a picture from the movie of how they made him look, the characters. The grossest character to me was the girl that kept having a runny nose, snot coming out of her nose in the whole movie, and the nerd, the what's his name, Ned, the nerd. I wrote his name down. I forgot a lot of the character names from Garbage Pail Kids. What was his name? I wrote it down, but I can't find it. Oh, Nat. His name was Nat. Nat Nerd. His name was Nat Nerd. So there he is. Good God. The glasses. Ugly son of a bitch. These are some of the ugliest goddamn kids I've ever seen. But that was a point of Garbage Pail Kids. To gross you out. And that's why kids liked them. Probably kids 6 years old to 5 to 8 to 12 to 14. They liked collecting Garbage Pail Kids because they wanted to see how funny they looked and what gross card they would come out with next. So if you were a boy in the 80s, you had to buy them. You had to see them. You had to collect them. Somehow, some way, you probably saw Garbage Pail Kids. Unless, like, your parents would, like, search your room and take them all or refuse to let you have them. If you had, like, really strict parents or really religious, I doubt you ever saw Garbage Pail Kids, but I did. I didn't have a strict parent, really. My mother tried her best, but I did a lot of shit, a lot of bad shit behind her back without telling her. I did a lot of dumb shit. Not bad shit, but just dumb shit. Like stealing, shoplifting a few times when I was a kid. But to me, that's normal to shoplift as a kid. At least it's not normal, but that's what kids do. They get into trouble. But I wasn't a bad kid, trust me. I just got into shit. Got into stuff with my friends. So, yeah. It goes on to say the critics again. The film got a score of 1 out of 100. The lowest on a website. Based on reviews from 7 critics. They overwhelmingly disliked it. Critics disliked the film's rude humor, acting, puppetry, inappropriate moments, the appearance of voice acting of the Garbage Pail Kids. And some of the characters you could say looked racist, I guess. And or a lot of people, I guess, you could call the movie racist, I guess. How they had the kids act. Or their voices, maybe. But they had to have goofy, weird voices. They were Garbage Pail Kids. I don't see that as, I didn't see it as being racial. But I guess you could say they had offensive voices, I guess. The critics disliked nonsensical plot and hypocritical message. Some guy in Florida called the film one of the worst ever made. Yeah, well, all the bad reviews just, they give movies publicity and make people want to go see them. If you hate a movie so bad, that just makes people want to go see it more. And I judge movies for myself if I like it. I don't give a fuck what reviewers on YouTube say. I take, if I like a movie, I take it by my opinion. If I like it. If I don't, I'll tell you. And I will at the end of this video. So someone else said this guy criticized the costumes as well as the message. Writing it plays lip service to the message that our instincts on physical beauty and defining beauty at that limits our understanding, cuts us all off from real human beauty. Look, man, you're an idiot. Whoever wrote that, they were called the Garbage Pail Kids. Who gives a flying fuck that you were upset about people calling them ugly in the movie, I guess? That, I don't know. Yeah, I guess he thought it was a bad influence on kids. If kids, I don't know, if kids were bullied or called names growing up, I guess, or overweight, you shouldn't see this movie, I guess. You shouldn't. If you're too soft and weak, don't watch the movie. If you were bullied a lot, you probably shouldn't watch the movie. You will probably be offended. But again, I don't know what offends you guys. I don't get offended by anything. I will say, Joe Rogan being popular, that offends me, that he has a popular show, because I think he sucks and he's not funny. Fuck Joe Rogan. His show sucks. That's my opinion. Obviously, he has fans, but you're a bunch of idiots if you like him. Again, Joe Rogan, to me, is just a fucking pothead and not funny. He's like, seriously, low energy on his show, and he's not funny, and he interviews some of the most boring fucking people ever that I'm not interested in ever listening to. But yeah, everyone gets offended by different things. The Garbage Pail Kids movie did not offend me. So let's go on to, let's see here. Yeah, this is interesting. I didn't know this until I read it. I didn't plan to watch the Garbage Pail Kids movie. I found it by accident in my DVD collection. I actually found it by accident and decided to watch it because I never saw the whole thing before. Yeah, that's amazing. A 38-year-old movie I never saw before. And I watched it in 2025. But yeah, I found it by accident on a DVD, the Garbage Pail Kids movie. I knew I had it, but I never thought of it like, oh, I should watch it. I forgot I had it. But I found it. I was looking for a different DVD, actually, of a wrestling show on it, but I couldn't find it. But that's how I found the Garbage Pail Kids movie, looking through my, 4,000 DVD collection. So that's how I found it to watch it. In 2012, this is some news about Garbage Pail Kids. It was reported some guy and his company had plans to finance and produce the development of a feature film based on the Garbage Pail Kids. Maybe it would have been a reboot or a remake, I don't know, or a sequel. But yeah, this was 2012. They had purchased the garbage. He had purchased Topps Training Cards company in 2007. On July 18th, 2013, it was reported that the film was canceled. I didn't know this. it was reported the film was canceled because of a negative reception to making it, I guess. So yeah, the public in 2013 did not want to see another Garbage Pail Kids movie. They all freaked out and they didn't make it. I don't know who freaked out, who complained, but the public, I guess, was outraged. How could you be outraged about a remake or a sequel? How could anybody be outraged about a remake or a sequel to Garbage Pail Kids, but you let Hollywood come out with fucking Jeffrey Dahmer movies about him and John Wayne Gacy movies and fucking Ted Bundy movies? You don't try to get those banned, and those don't go away because of negative reception. So the guy should have made another Garbage Pail Kids. He shouldn't have gave in to the public. He should have just done it. That's my opinion. He should have done it. But he gave in to the negative reception. And Garbage Pail Kids actually was a TV series in 1987. I never heard about that. What was it, a cartoon? Good God, it was a dark comedy, children's animated TV series produced in 1987. I never saw it or heard of it. Based on the training cards. It was, because of the controversial themes, it did not air. No wonder why. That's why I didn't see it. I didn't even know this until, I made this, Let's Talk About It Garbage Pail Kids movie. I never heard this. Because it never aired in the United States, and it was replaced by another Saturday morning cartoon on CBS. However, it did air internationally, including Europe and the Caribbean. See, man, Europe and the Caribbean have been a lot less offended than United States people, than Americans, or for what we put on television. Europe is a lot less offended. I don't know if they allow nudity to show on regular TV in Europe, on broadcast TV. I don't know. I've never been to Europe, so I've never seen what they show on regular TV. But I think I heard that. They allow nudity on regular TV, and it's not a big fucking deal. No one cares. Because Europe is not uptight about the fucking human body being nude. A nude body is not offensive, in my opinion. Especially a woman's body. That is a fucking beautiful creation. Good God. It's a work of art. A woman's body, in my opinion. So here are some of my notes about the Garbage Pail Kids movie. She had a character named Vicky, or her name started with a V. I don't know if it's Vicky, I forget, but something Vomit. And yeah, the movie starts off with the boy Dodge getting bullied by Juice and his gang, and his girlfriend Tangerine doesn't like what Juice is doing to the young boy, bullying him for some reason. I don't know why they're picking on him. He looks way younger than Juice. But Juice is picking on him and lifts up a sewer, top of a sewer, throws him down into the sewer. First, the movie starts off with like an antique shop. where this owner, they show garbage pail sitting in there. The garbage, I guess all the fucking kids fit in there. And then it's like magic. When they come out, they all appear, I guess. But that can was not big enough for like 8 kids. But that's pretty funny. I guess when they're released out of the garbage can, they all come to life. A whole bunch of them. But yeah, antique shop where the boy Dodge is working with some older guys as boss, I guess. And he sounds like he's British. So the boy gets thrown into the sewer at one point. And Juice tells his gang, open the sewer drain, or open a sewer pipe. And this girl that looks pretty jacked is with them, a part of Juice's gang and crew. She opens a drain, and a whole bunch of water, sewage water, I guess, comes out. Starts like drowning Dodge in it. He's asleep. He's like knocked out, and he's about to drown in the sewer, it looks like. And then Juice and his crew leave. They close the sewer top drain. They close it. So Dodge is trapped, about to basically drown. But then, out of nowhere, the fucking garbage pail kids, I guess, got out of the garbage can. Got out of the garbage pail, went down to the sewer. Maybe they have magical powers. They just appeared to help them. And they help Doge. They pick him up. They bring him back to the antique shop. And they're like, they're caring for him. That was weird. They just started caring for him to get him to wake up. And then he wakes up. He's freaked out. Who the fuck are these kids? Or these mutants with big ass fucking heads. And deformities all over the place. One of the kids blasts a fart right away. But yeah, they rescued him from the sewer. Then they start... And then Doge tells the garbage pail kids he likes a girl. And he's trying to impress her. He's after her. And... yeah. Then the garbage pail kids, they start sneaking out of the antique shop, I guess, at night, and they start stealing shit. This made no fucking sense. They're stealing shit. Man, I've already talked 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to go quick through my notes. Yeah, the garbage pail kids start stealing clothes, I guess, and start sewing their own clothes. They have sewing machines. They're sewing a whole bunch of clothes. And Doge says to them, can I take some of those and give them to the girl he likes? Tangerine. He wants to give Tangerine the clothes so she can sell them to people outside a nightclub. They were buying a whole bunch of her clothes. So she's making a lot of money off of Doge and the garbage pail kids because they sold a whole bunch of clothes that looked like good fashionable clothes you would wear in the 80s, I guess. So Tangerine tells Doge she loves his jacket that they made him. It looks like a Michael Jackson ripoff jacket. And then he tells Tangerine, the kids gave it to me. And he says the garbage pail kids gave him the jacket. I could sell them. And then Tangerine says, I could sell them. I could sell them for you. And he looks shocked, like, what? So basically, Tangerine starts using them to sell clothes and make money off them. Because at the end, she really used them. So then, out of nowhere, the garbage pail kids go to steal more clothes, I guess, and they end up stealing a Pepsi truck. And they come out of it. The vomit kid comes out of the truck with a 6-pack of Pepsi. That's pretty funny. And she goes, yeah, we are the Pepsi generation. That was so bad. That was not funny. No, just no, that was not funny humor. And Tangerine looks about 17 or 18, and the kid Doge, he's trying to get with her. He looks about 12. Like, seriously, a girl wouldn't be in a 12-year-old at 17 or 18. I don't know how old she was, but she looked about 17 or 18. And I looked her up, Tangerine, the actress. She was like, what was she? She was about 15 or 16 when the movie is made only. She was only 15 or 16, I think. So then the Garbage Pail Kids out of nowhere start singing a song. That was fucking weird. That was dumb. They start singing. It was disturbing. Them singing and how they looked. God, and I thought Pee Wee Herman in the 80s. I thought fucking Let me start over. I thought Pee Wee Herman was fucking weird and not funny in the 80s. His movie is good. I will say that. Pee Wee's Big Adventure was good. But Pee Wee Herman, his TV show, I didn't get it. I didn't get the humor. I thought it was not funny. Was not a fan of Pee Wee Herman as a kid or as an adult. Yeah, Paul Rubens, I watched part of his HBO documentary. It was a good idea. He was smart for coming up with Pee Wee. He played him well, but I was still not a fan of Pee Wee. But yeah, I thought Pee Wee Herman was weird in the 80s. I thought he was odd and weird. No, not compared to the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Pee Wee Herman was fucking normal compared to this movie. And Pee Wee's TV show, Pee Wee's Playhouse, was normal compared to this mess and just weird ass movie. So then they are making more clothes and they do close-ups of the Garbage Pail Kids. That was disturbing. I didn't need to see close-ups. The Vomit Girl's ugly as fuck. I wrote the one. I think the nerd, Nat the nerd, or Nat Nerd. He wets himself a lot in the movie. Wets himself like 3 times. It's like a fucking fire hose coming out of his pants. Why does he keep wetting himself so much? Because he's a Garbage Pail Kid. That's, God, what a character to wet himself nonstop. That's, if you were a real kid that wet yourself all the time in public, that would be embarrassing and horrible. So then someone says to them, go to the home, go to the home where the Garbage Pail Kids were. It's a home called the Home of the Ugly. Seriously, that's what it's called in the movie. The Home of the Ugly. That's pretty funny. So then they go sneak out again. The Garbage Pail Kids, they love to sneak out at night. They go out dressed in disguises of sunglasses and trench coats. And nobody notices them. The alligator is a Garbage Pail Kid, a little alligator that's small, and he walks on 2 feet. Alligator goes to a biker bar with another Garbage Pail Kid. They go on a four-wheeler to a biker bar, and the alligator goes inside, I guess he got hungry, he decided to start chomping on a guy's toes. Why the fuck was a biker's toes exposed? I don't know, but he started chomping on his foot. And then the whole bar goes nuts, trying to attack the alligator. And then the other guy, what was his name? Was it Nat the nerd or the one that farts? I don't know his name. The one that farts goes in the bar, starts kicking ass. Gets on top of the bar, starts punching the bikers. This movie is just fucking insane. I can't believe they made it. So the kid that farts gets up on the bar, and then he blasts a fart in the bartender's face, and like everybody scares out of the bar. And then one of the bikers likes the kid that farts. He starts grabbing him like, I'm gonna buy everybody drinks. That was fucking weird and made no sense. Or one of the bikers says, this kid's with me. He's cool. So then the rest of the bikers accept him. What? Good God. So the alligator then and the farting kid stay in the bar and drink and get drunk and come home pretty drunk on a four-wheeler. The alligator's drunk. Says you need to go back to the ugly home. You need to go back home. Basically, the alligator goes back to the antique shop and goes in. Good God. And then the antique owner and the kid start saying we need to get into the home of the ugly. We need to break in it because it's so secure. They need to get in somehow. Then Tangerine meets the Garbage Pail Kids. Tangerine doesn't like them. She comes out of her apartment. She's shocked. Fuck Elon. And fuck Doge. Dodge, I think his name's Dodge. The character Dodge brings the Garbage Pail Kids for some reason to meet Tangerine. He starts telling her, you're gonna like them. You'll like them. Well, just talk to them. And she disagrees. She says, no, they're ugly. She's shocked. They're so ugly. She's shocked. They made her clothes that she sells. She's putting on a fashion show then. Tangerine's fashion show. And then one of the Garbage Pail Kids gets kidnapped by fucking Juice and his gang. They bring them all back to the home of the ugly. And Doge goes to the biker bar. Doge, the kid, goes to the biker bar, says they're in trouble. They need your help. And all the bikers run out of the fucking bar and get on their bikes and go to the home of the ugly to break them out and help. That was weird. That was fucking weird. Like, geez, this movie is so much fantasy. Like, bikers would be friends with ugly, ugly, ugly Garbage Pail Kids. But again, it was like a fantasy land story. It was wild. It was a Garbage Pail Kids story. So the bikers break one of the windows in the home of the ugly. So Doge gets in the window, and then the antique owner gets him out of the cage. In the home of the ugly, they threw him in a cage. He gets him out. He beats up a cop. He used magic against a cop. It looked like he threw a fireball in the cop's face. That was weird. So then, yeah. Then the Garbage Pail Kid that farts in a cop's face. That's pretty funny. This movie is nuts. Then they invade the fashion show. The Garbage Pail Kids invade Tangerine's fashion show and ruin it and start ripping the dresses off the models. And then the models are in their underwear and bras, and they're running around scared to death of the Garbage Pail Kids. And some of the Garbage Pail Kids are grabbing their clothes off the racks, and they're like, these are my clothes, give them back. Good God. Because for some reason the Garbage Pail Kids sew and make clothes. Get fucking real. That was a stupid storyline in the movie, that they made and sewed clothes. That was dumb. Then the kid that vomits, a girl that vomits, gets punched in the stomach by the gang members of Juice. She gets punched, of course, or in front of her, laying on the ground. She gets punched and throws up and vomits all over them. That was pretty funny, I thought. She vomits on two of them. And Tangerine Yeah, the costumes again on the Garbage Pail Kids are fucking disturbing as hell. And then Tangerine visits Dodge. Tangerine visits him, and she says, "We still be friends?" And he says, "No thanks." He says, "You are not pretty anymore." And then the Garbage Pail Kids leave the antique shop for some reason because they want to go live out in the world, I guess. Weird. That was weird. So then the Garbage Pail Kids leave on four-wheelers. And they're laying in trailers and they go off into the world, I guess, to live happily ever after. I don't fucking know where they went. They could have made a sequel, actually. But it didn't make enough profit to make a sequel. So then, yeah, the kids leave. They're gone. And that was really dumb. Dodge said, "No thanks. I don't want to be your friend, and you are not pretty anymore." Great comeback. Fucking idiot. The most shocking about this movie, that it was worse than a ton of... God, it might have been the worst movie of the 80s. I think it was. But to me, it was worse than No Holds Barred. I like No Holds Barred, but I'm a wrestling fan, but still. No Holds Barred is considered a bad fucking movie. Critics hated it, probably, I'm sure, and didn't get good reviews. No Holds Barred was not a great movie. But Garbage Pail Kids was worse, in my opinion, of worse than No Holds Barred. If you don't know what No Holds Barred is, look it up. 1989. Hulk Hogan's in it as the main character. So the kids say bye, and then we get the final credits with a pretty fucking funny Garbage Pail Kids song. It says, "You can be a Garbage Pail Kid too. You can be a Garbage Pail Kid too. If you're sent to the principal, you can be a Garbage Pail Kid." That was pretty funny, the song during the credits. That made me laugh. My final thoughts on this movie. The director, whoever wrote it, if the director wrote it also, you must have been on LSD, acid, crack, a ton of weed or something. You were on something. Not good to make this movie. The studio. I guess studio thought, yeah, the Garbage Pail Kids cards sold so many. They made $1 billion. Let's make a movie. We can make $30 million, they probably thought. Which it was a flop. The movie is a flop because it was fucking bad. It was bad. It was a mess. The script made no sense. It was stupid. The storyline was stupid. But I would say there were like, I don't know. And then maybe like 3 parts. 3 parts that I enjoyed, thought were funny maybe. But yeah, out of 5 stars, this movie gets, again, the concept should have not been made into a movie. But it's so outrageous and just stupid. It was so outrageous and stupid that I kind of thought it was funny. But it's still one of the worst movies of the 80s. Maybe one of the worst ever, not the worst ever made, but the worst movie ever made, in my opinion. Cannibal Holocaust. That was shit. That should have not been made. That was shit. I didn't like it. That was offensive, that movie. That was offensive to me. Cannibal Holocaust is the worst movie ever made, in my opinion. So the Garbage Pail Kids is not the worst movie ever made. Cannibal Holocaust is. I tried to watch Cannibal Holocaust. I got through like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Turned it off. I don't want to watch it anymore. It seemed too real. I didn't like it. But Garbage Pail Kids, I liked it a little. A little bit of it was hilarious. It's just so fucking outrageous that they made the Garbage Pail Kids into a movie. That's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. Out of 5 stars, I'll give it. Jesus, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 1.5. 1.5 stars. 1.5. Maybe 2. Possibly close to 2 stars. That's what Garbage Pail Kids get. That's my final thoughts on Garbage Pail Kids. The movie from 1987. It gets, I'll be nice, 2 stars out of 5. And not 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs up, and 1 down. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this review. Let's talk about it. The Garbage Pail Kids movie. I don't know where you can find it. Buy it on DVD. You can find it on DVD because it's not available on a streaming service. They don't want the movie. It's so bad. They refuse to take it and put it on a streaming service. But you can probably buy it on DVD somewhere, eBay, Amazon, or I don't know, go to an old video store that sells DVDs. Go to buy a used DVD store. Maybe you'll find it there. I don't know. But I wouldn't recommend watching it. It's hour 30 minutes of pointless nonsense. I wouldn't recommend watching it. It's a waste of an hour 30 minutes. I just watched it because I never saw the whole thing before. And I thought, I'm going to do a let's talk about it. Garbage Pail Kids, the movie. That's why I watched it for my channel on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed this long video talking about Garbage Pail Kids, the movie that should have never been made. But was a tiny bit entertaining. A tiny bit. Bye for now. Like, comment, share, subscribe. My next let's talk about it will be either on The Wolfman from 2025 or this, The Invisible Man from 2020 or 2019, whenever it came out. I watched this 4 or 5 days ago. I will do a let's talk about it about this. And Wolfman, and in the future I'll do a let's talk about it about this classic. So bye for now, everybody. Have a great Sunday and have a great week.